Hello gang, Merlin Don on the mic. Today we will talk about my favorite blue leader, and this is not Toffee, this is Buggy the Clown, or one of the 4 emperors of the sea, guys. So this is a leader that it's mostly a fun deck at the moment. Can perform well in the locals, especially if you play against many TCG players or Enel players, because this deck has some decks against this or against such decks, and it will gain support in the upcoming months with the promo card, and I really hope that he will get more support in the upcoming OPs. So what this leader does, it's an activate main. You may rest 5 Dawn, so you rest 5 of your Dawn, you discard 1 card from your hand, and then you get to play 1 character with cross skill type from your hand. The cost does not play any role, so you can play a 10 cost card, a 100 cost card if one existed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a pretty interesting effect, especially as we go, as we move on the next OPs and new cards will be printed out. So what we will do today is, like always in an in-depth guide, we will start with the guide here that I will show you, and I will tell you about the leader, about the starting hand, what mulligan for, what will you play at 1, 3 Dawn, mid-range, what's your finisher, what's your pre-finisher, what you use for defense, what are your combos, how do you play this with this leader in an odd curve or in an even curve, so if you go first or if you go second. Then we will go through the list, through my list, my personal list in the simulator, and then we will finish with some gameplay, so with 3 matches to see how you can play with this leader. So without any further ado, let's dive in. So this is a Buggy leader. We already talked about the activate main, the ability that he has, and he's a 5 life mono blue leader with 5k attack power, and the attributes of 4 emperors and cross guild. When you start, what you search for are these 3 cards, or one of these 3 cards. So you need a searcher to start searching and establish a small body on the field, or you search for a Marguerite so that you can establish a blocker and you get to draw a card. The hand size in this leader matters, because it's like teach, when you want to use your ability, your leader's ability, you need to discard to trust 1 card. So the more cards you play that let you draw cards, extra cards, the better. And of course, Crocodile is like a mini Moria, so he's a 7 cost 7k. You can play him for free with your leader ability, and he brings another 5 cost or less from your hand to the field. So for 5 Dawn you bring this guy and also another 5 cost from your hand. What do you play on your first 3 Dawns is of course a searcher, a blocker, or a Sands Pilaf to let you draw 2 cards, 2 extra cards. The mid-range, what do you do on the mid game is you try to use your leader ability to play a Crocodile and fetch one of these guys here, the 5 cost guys, and or a Dracul Mihawk, which is a 6 cost 7k. It's a blocker and it lets you draw 1 card. So you draw 2 cards, you discard 1 card. So that means that at the end of the day you draw an extra card and you get also to recycle some of your cards in your hand. As a pre-finisher, you always have the Jozu. Jozu, helps you maintain the control in the board, so you can play Jojo, for example, get back a Mr. 3 in your hand, bounce back something from your opponent to his own hand, so you have established the body and you have maintained the control of the board. Your finisher is this crazy card, guys. So it's a 10 cost 12k with an on-play effect. Return up to one of your opponent's characters to the bottom of the deck, so it bottom decks something. And if you control 5 characters with a cost of 5 or more, he stays on the board. If not, then you have to bottom deck this as well. So what you need to do, guys, is you need to have 4 already, before you play this card, you need to have already 4 characters in your board with 5 costs or more, and then you can play this card using your leader's ability or not, and then you get to bottom deck something from your opponent and this card plays on the board. Or if you have 3 characters, just do the math, if you have 3 characters with a cost 5 or more, let's say that you have, for example, these 3 on the board, right? And then you have 10 Don and you have 1 Buggy and let's say one other of these 5 costs, or a Mihawk, for example. Then you can use your leader's ability twice. So you trust 2 cards and first you play one of these, let's say the 5 cost or the Mihawk. Now you have 4 cards with 5 cost or more, and then you use your leader ability again, you discard 1 card and you play this guy, and now you have a full board with characters more than 5 costs. So this card stays on the board, you get to bottom deck whatever card you want from your opponent, and now you have a really fearsome board. And of course you get also to bottom deck something, right? And just imagine that you already have 4 characters of 5 cost or more on your board, and you have 2 Buggies on your hand. Then what you can do is, of course, you can use your leader's ability twice. You play 2 Buggies, and you bottom deck 2 cards, 2 characters of your opponent, which are already on the field. It's such a crazy card, this one, let me tell you, and of course in combination with your leader's ability that lets you play this card for free, or 2 of them in 1 turn for free. And if you have the right board, they get also to remain on the board. And we will see an example in our gameplay matches in the end of this video. So stay with me and let's move on. To defend yourself, you have these 2 Ks, so the Kabaji and Moji, and you can also play both of them. You can play both of them with your leader's ability for free, or you can fetch them with Crocodile. Also, you have these 2 blockers. Margaret is a great blocker because it lets you draw a card, and Mihawk does the same. So you draw 2 cards, you trust 1 card, and you have a big body on the field. And of course, you can also defend yourself by reducing the number of the opponent's characters on the field by using a Gum Gum Red Rock, or a Gravity Blade. Your combinations, like we already discussed, you can play your Crocodile using your leader's effect, or also not, and then you can get on the field for free one of these 5 cost characters. Or you can play Jojo, for example, for 6 Don, and if you have a Mr. Gardino or a Margate on the field, you get this card back and then you bounce back one of your opponent's characters. And if you have 1 more Jozu, you have now a Mr. 3 in your hand, and on your next turn you can do exactly the same. You play the Mr. 3, you you draw a card from Mr. 3, then you play your Jozu, you get this Mr. 3 back on your hand, and you bounce something back from your opponent, right? Or if you bounce back 1 Marguerite, then you can play the Marguerite on the next turn. If you are, let's say, at 9 Dawn, and you get to draw a card again, and then you get this blocker back, using your Zuzu, and you can play this card again on the next turn. So such a great effect, such a great card. So if you go first, guys, and which is preferred, by the way, you start by playing a Galdino, a Mr. 3, you get to draw a card, and then on your 3 dawn you can play Sanji's Pilaf to draw 2 cards, or a Margaret to draw 1 card and establish a blocker, and then on your 5 dawn you play your you attack, of course, with your leader, and you use your leader's ability in order to play a Crocodile and fetch one of these guys here, or you can play a Mihawk for free and draw 2 cards, trust 1 card. On the 7th dawn, you can do the same, your leader ability and so on, or you can also play, let's say, a Cardino and a Zozu and bounce something back from your opponent, start establishing a board and presence also, and prepare everything for your 10 cost Buggies. On your 9th dawn, you do exactly the same, leader's ability, Crocodile into something else, and Mihawk, and with the remaining dawn you can play a Margaret, a Sanji's Pilaf, or one Cardino. On your 10th dawn, of course, you can use your leader's ability again. If you have a full board of 5 costs or more, like we already discussed, you can also bring your Buggy. If not, you try to establish the board and prepare everything for this guy to appear. And you can also play twice this card if you have the right board. And of course, this card, you can also play this card if your opponent has a big threat on the field which you want to get rid of. You can play also this Buggy just to get rid of this threat, and you can always play another Buggy as the game continues. If you go second, it's almost the same thing. On the 2nd dawn, you can play Mr. 3 Galdino if you have one, and then on your 4th dawn, you can play a blocker or Sanji's Pilaf and Mr. 3. Then on your 6th dawn, you can play a Zozu if you have on the field already a Margaret or a Mr. 3, or you can use your leader's ability and fetch something on the board. Exactly the same on the 8th dawn, leader's ability, Zozu, in combination with the small cards that you have, and you try to establish a board full of 5, 6 and 7 cost characters, so that you can use your big boy Buggy on the 10th dawn turn, bottom taking something of your opponent and establishing a huge body on the field, guys. So this is the guide, and this is my list. This is the list that I use. We have a Buggy here. We play a Mr. 1 4 times, which is a 1k counter, and this character gains +1 key power for every 2 event cards in your trash. So we don't play many event cards in this deck, so it's not a card that like Jesus Burgess, for example, in Teach, but it can also get benefited from event cards like this here, if you have this on your trash and get some +1k. What is important though is the on-play effect of this card. You get to draw 2 cards and trash 1 from your hand. So you draw 1 extra card, and you also get to try and establish a good hand. So you can recycle your cards, let's say, better. Margaret, a blocker, 3 cost, on play, draw a card. Zozu, already spoken about him, +1k counter, 6, 7k. When you play him, you may get one of your characters back, and you bounce back 1 cost 6 or lower character of your opponents. Alvida, a great card with a great art, by the way, and it has a counter, and when your opponent KOs this card, you can replace this card with another 5 cost from your hand, so you don't lose this 5 cost from the field. Kabachi is a 2k, and you can also play this character, and if you have a Buggy or emoji in the play, this is the emoji, this is the Buggy, for example, then this character can't be KO'd in battle, only through effects. Crocodile, on play, mini Minimoria, you play this character and you fetch one 5 cost or less from your hand for free, guys. Mihawk, blocker, on play, draw 2 cards, discard 1 hand from your hand, 6-7 cost. Buggy, we talked about this card, such a great card. On play, return, you bottom deck something from your opponent, and if you have a board full of 5 cost or more characters, he stays on the board. Moji, 2k, and yeah, we can also fetch him with our Crocodile or with Leader's ability. Mr. One, we can also get him with Crocodile or Leader's ability, 5-7 vanilla, but really strong because he's a cross-guild character. Mr. Trigardino, this is our searcher, Sans Pilaf, we get to draw 2 cards with this card, and exactly the same if you trigger this card, which is also great. Red Rock, you can bottom deck something of your opponent, something big like a Shanks, like a Teach, like I don't know, from Bonnie, for example, like a Don Flamingo, or a Kid uses Captain Kid, and so on. Gravity Blade, that's a great card. You get bottom deck to cost 6 or less characters from your opponent. So these cards helps you maintain the control of the board. Yeah, this was the leader. Let's go and see some gameplay now. We will start playing against Enel, and Enel plays first Flambe. He draws 1 life, he draws 1 card. We didn't have a search in our first dawn, so in our 3 dawn we play our Sanchez Pilaf. And as you can see, we have a Crocodile, we have Jozu, we have Buggy. This Enel plays now a Sirahoshi, and he prefers not to attack us because he doesn't want to give us more resources, because he knows that as Buggy you starve for resources because you trust 1 card for your Leader's ability. So at our 5 dawn, what we do here is we attack him, and then we use our Leader's ability to play our Minimoria, and this is of course our Crocodile. So we trust 1 Jozu, and then we play Crocodile into Alvida. Then he plays a Gidatsu. Unfortunately, we don't have any other 5 cost on our hand, which is rare, but it happens. So we don't get to replace this character with another one, and we hit a trigger here with from his Gidatsu, a Gravity Blade, and we bottom deck this Gidatsu on the spot. Now we play a Mihawk with our Leader's ability, and of course a Mr. 3, because we have a Jozu in our hand and we can use it to bounce back something of our opponents. Now our opponent is at 8 dawn, so he plays a Katakuri, and he top decks our Crocodile, I think, if I'm not mistaken, exactly, our Crocodile, and he passes. So he tries to establish a big board and start attacking us, which is yeah, it might work against other decks, but against Buggy, this is exactly what we want here, because we need time, we need to establish a board with 5 cost or more characters. So we have a Gardino, we do exactly the game that I told you. We take back the Gardino, we give him back the Sirahoshi, we play the Gardino again, so we draw another card here. We are at a really strong and good position. We have established 2 bodies which are 6 cost or more, so Jozu and Mihawk. Then he plays another Katakuri, and again he's Sirahoshi and he passes, but we don't care at all. We play now Mr. One, so we draw 2 cards, we trust 1 card. We have so many cards in our hand, and we have 2 buggies. Then at this point I was like, okay, now I will use my Leader's ability to play. I wanted here to play the Mihawk, to be honest, but I played it wrong to the simulator, so I trust my Mihawk, so I played then an Alvida, which is not necessarily bad. He KOs with a Nami now our Mr. One, and now we still need to establish some big characters here, so I play Mr. One with from my hand, and then I also play emoji and replace one Mr. 3 Gardino, and in our next turn we are ready to start placing our buggies if he does not KO one of our characters. He plays a Nico Robin here to trust our Mihawk, and now he has also an almost full board. So this is our turn, guys. We have 4 characters with 5 cost or more, and what we do here is we attack him with our characters here. First with the 5 cost, the small ones, and then in order to grab some cards from him. So we attack him twice with 5, once with 6, and I was like, now okay, now again with 7, I want you to give me at least one blocker or something more. He gives me the blocker. Now I am really happy because I don't need anything else at this point. So I use my leader's ability once, just look at that, and I bottom deck this Katakuri, and then I use my leader's ability another time. I was like here, okay, do I want to keep this red rock or this 2Ks? And I was like, okay, I will keep this 2Ks, and I play my second buggy. Now look at this beautiful board that we have established. Look at this beautiful board. We have 2 buggies, we have so many big characters. So now he plays Yamato, but this is not enough. This is not enough, of course, because now we have some great monsters of the field, and we win this game with 5 life, guys, with 5 life. Can you understand that? So of course then now it's time for us to go for game, because we are safe. Even if he manages to somehow survive this turn, he will not the next one. So of course now he's at 1 life, and what we do here is we hit him with everything that we have, and of course the fact that he does not hit, let's say, a 0 cost event or a base gives us here the game. Yeah, he hit a Raigo, but that's of course not enough because he has only 4 cards, and we hit him with 14k. So you saw how strong this leader is, and how you can use the twice your leader's ability to bring 2 buggies on 1 turn. This was the best and perfect example. Again, the second game against Perona, we play our first Mr. 3 now to search one character. He plays Enuta. We hit his leader here with our leader, and then we play 1 blocker to draw a card. This is a perfect start with Buggy, so your 1 cost and your 3 cost, and he plays an Otama to draw something, and a Momonosuke, and then I think he reveals a Ryuma. Yes, we see that, and then he kills our blocker. First he with the leader's ability he rests that, and then he kills that. And you can be my samurai. He rests 2 characters, and then he draws 2 cards. With our Mr. 3 Gardino, we kill his Momonosuke, and now I do a mistake here. I hit his Uta, and this Uta can't be killed by leaders. Lesson learned. Then we play with our leader's ability, our mini Moria, so our crocodile, and we bring 4 free Mr. 1 on the field. He kills that by using an Ice Age and Ryuma. Okay, fair enough. And I was like, okay, now it's time for us to start controlling the board. So we play our Jezu, we get this Mr. 3 back in our hand, we give him the Ryuma back in his hand, and then we play, of course, our Mr. 3 to give us 1 more card, 1 extra card in our hand, and we grab a Buggy, of course. Then we hit him with 5k with our leader, and then again with Mr. 1, of course. He gives us a Borsalino, and then the 7k hit, he takes that, and now he's down in 2 life, guys. Then he does a -2 using his Uta's ability, and he KOs that with his Ryuma again, and then he does a -2 with Tsuru. He rests that with his leader's ability, but he wanted to do something there, and he did something wrong. So he tries to kill that by attacking directly to it, but of course we get to defend that anyway, right? So now we use our Gardino to kill his Otama, then we use our Jozu now to kill his Uta. You see, I don't make the same mistake twice, guys. Then we do exactly the same game. We play our Jozu, we get our Mr. 3 back. We play our Mr. 3 to get another card in our hand, guys. So we are always with so many cards, and then of course we kill his last card on the field. We are now at a really good position because our opponent has only 2 dons, only 2 lives, excuse me, and we have 2 Josuses. Then he plays a Kaido, he kills one of our Josuses, and we trust 1 card. Now we have only 1 character with 5 cost or more in the play, and this is a Jozu, but we need to get rid of this Kaido, and this is one of the times that you can also use your Buggy just to bottom deck a character, and this is exactly what I do here. First I play my Crocodile and I bring a Mr. 1 in the field, and then for the remaining dons I use my leader's ability one more time and I just bottom deck his Kaido. I lose this Buggy because I don't have 5 or 4 other 5 cost or more characters in the field, but I don't care because I have managed again to clear his board and to establish a really good board in our turn. And of course we hit him with our leader, we hit him with our Jozu, and we are ready to finish him off on the next turn. He now plays a Moria, and he does not bring back a blocker. If I remember correctly, he brings back a Ryuma and a Tsuru because he wants to KO something from my characters, and he also plays a Momonosuke because he wants to search something, but he does not pick any cards, so his 5 cards that he drew didn't help him at all. And of course now he has only 4 cards. I know for a fact that Perona does not have so many 2k counters. We have 4 attacks. So what I do here is, of course, I get him to give me all of his 2ks and 1ks. Then we finish him off with Mr. 3 Gardino here. Last game against Rebecca, guys. We go first here. We play our Gardino. Then for the 2 don, he plays the states. If I remember correctly, exactly, he plays the states here. And now we are at our 3 don. We play our Pilaf because our opponent does not have any characters, so we are not threatened from anything. We don't need the blocker. And then he plays a Kyros and he KOs our Searcher. We are now at 5 don. What else do we do? We do at the 5 don, of course, we use our leader's ability and we play our mini Moria, our Crocodile, and we bring an Alvida from the effect of Crocodile. In his turn he plays Rebecca here. With Rebecca he brings another small Rebecca and he draws another Kyros, and he attacks us with his Kyros here. At this point I attack first his small Rebecca because I don't want him to have any buddies on the field. And then I was like, okay, now I will play Mihawk, and we hit a Gravity Blade, which is great in this matchup, the Gravity Blade, and we throw away our Mr. 3. Then I hit his Kyros, and I instantly remember that this guy cannot be KO'd by effects. He can just use his rest, his states, and his leader. So I then go for life, and he gives me his blocker because he wanted this blocker in the graveyard in order to bring it back with Moria, which he does. So he plays a Moria, Rebecca into another Rebecca and a Kyros. So he has now a full board, and he feels pretty comfortable and confident, I think. But this is now time for us to kill his small Rebecca and bottom deck the 2 Kyroses from his, which is a pain for him at this point of the game. Then he gives us his blocker, and of course we have now 3 big characters on the board, we go full at his life. He gives us some counter, but we managed to get him down to 4 life, exactly like we are now. He has only 1 Moria, but we have 3 characters, so he tries to play here at this point as many characters as he has. The downside of this Rebecca is that this leader cannot attack, so he has only 1 attack, and this one is Moria, and if he wants to destroy one of my characters, he also has to invest some dons to do it. But if he does that, then he doesn't have the dons to play the character. So he chooses here to invest the dons in order to play his characters, and also use the combination of this Ouroboros with Leo to get rid of Alvida, and Alvida uses the on KO effect and brings back from my hand a Mr. 1. So we still have these 5 cards here, guys. And we play with leader's ability, 1 Mihawk at this point, and I was like, okay, do I want to keep the Sand's Pilaf or the other cards? And I trust the Mihawk here. And then I trust this Pilaf, and we play this Buggy. We bottom deck this Moria, and now this Buggy stays on the field. He stays on the field because we have only 5 cost or more characters, and of course we have also 2 blockers, so we don't really care. We hit him with everything we have here, and we are still safe at 4 life. And look at this beautiful board, guys. At this beautiful board we have so many big characters, and yeah, he tries everything that he can in order to KO my blocker, my active blocker, and then he plays another Sabo, so another blocker, and with his Ouroboros he attacks my leader, which I take, of course. And now we are at a position where we can either finish him off or yeah, just do it on our next turn. So we go 7 with Crocodile. We go then 9 with our Mihawk. Gives us this first blocker, then again 9 with our other Mr. 1. He gives us all of his hand, guys, the whole hand. And then I was like, okay, you know what, I will go 6, and he takes, of course. And then I was like, okay, now I will get also your last blocker, and with leader's ability we play another blocker that lets us also draw 2 cards. So we sign our victory here, and not only our victory with a full board. Then he plays a Monkey D. Luffy for 7, but that couldn't do anything at all to us. Then he plays Rebecca, he draws a Gum King Kong gun, or how's it's called, but and then he tries to KO one of our characters, and I was like, okay, I will give you that, and yeah, that does not matter at all, because on the next turn we will finish him off. So he gives up at this point of the game. So this was the leader, guys. It's a really fun deck to play. It's a really great leader. He will gain support on the upcoming months, or in the upcoming months. And this is the card. This is the one card, guys. Once he takes this card, this deck becomes maybe a meta deck, because this 7 cost Buggy, which you can also fetch with your leader's ability, cannot attack, but all cost 3 or 4 characters of your opponent, right? Not only yours, cannot attack. So this is huge, guys. This is huge. And when you play this guy, you also can play one cost 6 or lower cross skill type character from your hand. 6 cost or lower. You don't only get to play your 5 cost, but also your Mihawk. right guys? So keep that in mind. I'm really thrilled about the new promo card. I will play this leader also in my locals. I find him a great leader, and I'm really happy also about doing this guide for you guys, because like I said, it's something that I like to do, and this is also a leader that I do like. So much about likes. If you like this video, drop a like. Also in YouTube, you can also comment whatever you want and make some requests like this one. This was also a request from you guys, from the community, and I hear you. So if you have any further requests, just just make them. Thank you all for watching, guys. Peace.